All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Zandra, and our co-host is Rebekah, and we're finally starting this recording. And it's the first episode. I actually have my daughter here because, yay, mommy life, and that's part of what this is. And she's grabbing the microphone.
Of course. Good morning. I am Rebekah, and I'm super excited that we are finally doing this. It's something we've been talking about for, a long time, and lots of planning involved. And so what's super exciting is that we're actually in 2 different states, 2 different time zones, and coordinating our busy schedules and trying to figure out how we were going to make this work. And so, yeah, super exciting that we finally pushed the record. And here we are.
Yes.
Because like Zandra said, mom life, we had tried to get together multiple times trying to see how we were going to do this. But Zandra was talking about maybe starting out with some introductions, like who we are, and kind of what brought us to wanting to do this. So, Zandra, if you want to go first.
Yeah. The first one is, what's your name? I'll actually start though, because this I get a lot, and you're gonna wonder why in a second, or maybe you haven't because you've actually looked at the way I spell my name and you've heard the way I said it. So my name is technically Zandra Aguilar. I never say my name correctly. I know. Because my parents always called me something else. My dad calls me Trouble. My mom calls me Pumpkin. I didn't hear my name until I was 5 at kindergarten. So there's that. Rebekah calls me Zandy or Zandra. The only time I correct people is if I hate the way it sounds, which is almost never, honestly. That's the short version of my name. How about you, Rebekah?
So my name is Rebekah, but growing up, everybody who has known me since we were like forever has always called me Becca. And with the way it's spelled as well, it has never been spelled right. So same with Zandra, if you looked at my spelling, I get a lot of, I've never seen it that way, which to me, it seems like it's pretty common. But I absolutely hate when people call me Becky, and my granddad was actually the only person I ever allowed to call me Becky. And then my sister calls me Beck. And it's really funny because I actually didn't start going by Rebekah until like going into the adult world. And I think it was more like being around people I had never met before, and on my job application, it's your full name. And then they just started calling me Rebekah. And I remember having to I actually practiced in front of the mirror, like, hi, my name is Rebekah, because it sounded so weird. And then I don't know when it finally kind of just stuck, but I think you and our friend Sheena refused to call me Rebekah. I have a lot of people who've known me forever, and they're like, nope, I can't. Sam the other day, she's like, I can't do it. I won't even introduce you as Rebekah. So yeah, and especially with my maiden name, it was Becca Bell, and that has just stuck. So yeah, and I have a hard time with your last name.
Oh, yeah. So my new last name, I forgot to mention, is Asanovich. It looks really weird. Lots of people don't want to say it because of how they think, how it'll come out, which my husband has a great story on how someone thought his name was someone calling him a bad word. We'll have to get the husbands on someday because he tells it great. I ruin it. And it's not my story. So I work at a high school, and a lot of the kids just call me Miss because they're like, because of the end, bitch.
Yes.
So it's funny. Yeah, like I said, we'll have to have the husbands on to talk. Who knows what, but definitely to tell that story about the name.
Yeah, it's really funny because Nathan calls me Rebekah, and we've known each other since elementary school. So and everybody calls him Nate, and I always called him Nathan. So yeah, so that's our background behind our names, that we definitely have especially Zandra, has a very unique name. It was really funny. It wasn't until we were adults that you had told me how to actually pronounce your name. And then I couldn't do it. I'm like, no, you always do Zandy to me.
Okay, you just want to look at pictures? You don't want to look at yourself?
Oh, maybe. Okay. Yeah, and if you end up hearing my family, so I also have, mom life. I have 4 boys. They also had a sleepover last night, so we have an extra child here. And then
they did.
And they are all up right now. I thought for sure we'd get up early enough that they'd sleep in, and that my husband would hopefully sleep in. He's always up early gaming, but I was already out there because he was yelling at the TV, and I was like, "You need to be quiet." It's QP's birthday too, so we were hoping to get up early and get this going. But so the other question that we get a lot is, what are you? And that drives me absolutely crazy. I feel like, I don't know, we've kind of talked about this a lot, but over the years, especially nowadays, it's gotten a little bit better where it's like, what ethnicity are you? But I used to get that all the time when we were younger. Like, they just look at you funny, like, what are you? Especially when they see my dad, because he's, very, very Caucasian and, blue eyes, and at the time, like lighter blonde hair. Now he's bald. Love you, Dad. But my dad is Scotch Irish and my mom's Native American. So that, obviously makes me Native American and Scotch Irish, but definitely have that mixed look. And but Zandra, it's funny that you get it a lot as well.
A lot. It is funny because even Ryan, that's my husband's name, he said before he actually saw my last name, my married name, he thought I was Middle Eastern of some sort. So he was like, oh, and I was like, that's actually not surprising. I've gotten Indian and some other Middle Eastern as well. Yes, I'm definitely, no, you want more pictures? Hi. Yeah, we've learned no, but no means all sorts of things, by the way. So yeah, I get it all the time, except for from other Spanish speaking people, whether they're usually Mexican, but like they have no doubts. They just start speaking to me in Spanish and I'm like, I don't actually speak Spanish, but hey. Yes. So let me answer the question. I mean, technically, this is why Rebekah and I don't like this question. I am 3rd generation born in America. My parents are from Texas. My grandparents on my dad's side are from Texas. My mom's parents are from Mexico. I think like Monterey or something. This is how much I don't know, unfortunately. And then my brother had to search like what we have. So we're Mexico, Guatemala, and then Spain, like three generations back. So we're Spanish and we're American, basically. She's trying to get a card on the floor now. Okay, there you go, honey. Yeah, so it's always been like, what are you? And it is what are you? And I'm like, I just want to be human. Can't you see? Like, what else am I? That's the answer I give sometimes, especially when I was, 23 and in the city by myself. I'd be like, human, bye. Because that's usually in some situation that you don't want to talk to someone. It's usually someone hitting on you. You're like,
or just being rude. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. And it's always in like a condescending way. Like, I've always gotten it. Well, and it's funny because I always have a lot of people who will start speaking Spanish to me too. And I'm like, And it's funny because my mom actually went to school to be a teacher, like a dual language teacher. So she was fluent in Spanish. And so my mom got confused with all sorts of things. Yeah, they thought she was Vietnamese, they thought she was Korean, or Hispanic or Hawaiian even. And so
I had that once.
Yeah,
but
Hawaiian.
It was when I was in Hawaii. So, yeah.
I actually had a boss a long time ago who thought I was Basque. That I married a Basque.
That's surprising that they would even, I forget where you're at. I was like, that's surprising that they would even think that. Because when I used to bring up Basque, someone was like, what? I'm like, that? Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
Yep.
I can't teach you a whole culture that I know very little about.
But it's fun that we're like at the age that we are, that both of us are really trying to reconnect with our roots and learn more about that, because neither of us were really raised a whole lot in our cultures and, those traditions. And my mom was taken from the reservation when she was 3. And it wasn't until I was like in 5th grade that I learned a lot more and started dancing and powwows and stuff. And so trying to, share that with my own kids. And I'm like, I don't even know enough to, share that with them as well. And so it's kind of fun that we get to do that together and, kind of learn as we go. But
that is actually probably the fun part too, right? Well, from your experience, like learning with your kids, like so that they know that it's even though it's new to you, it's still important and something that you hope to keep. And you're building memories, which I had mentioned, like, I guess I didn't post it. I mentioned that that I'm trying to connect with my roots because I want to have the culture for my daughter and more things that we celebrated. Like we always had a little bit of like our culture of Mexican culture in like maybe birthday parties or like some holidays we mixed because they're American holidays, but never anything huge that was specific to Mexican culture or even Spaniard culture. And that's something I really want to have for her because now, like you said, now that I'm older, I didn't realize how much I missed it because I didn't have it. And now that I realize I don't have it and there's so much richness in it, I want it for her.
Yes. Well, and I think it was also like, especially for our parents' generation, maybe even our grandparents' generation, it wasn't something to be proud of. Like, there was so much more of that discrimination, and it was, we could go on forever with this, but that was like,
yes.
That might be for another episode, but.
Probably. Yeah.
So that is something that is we're doing together and like supporting each other. And and that it's like the whole thing that brought us together for this is that we've known each other since, is it middle school? No, it was elementary school.
I say, well, here's the funny thing. Yeah. So we met in dance. And I didn't even remember that until I looked at a picture. Like, I don't really remember anyone from dance when we were in grade school, like 8 and 9 years old.
Yeah.
So then, we reconnected in middle school.
I think we were actually sitting next to each other, weren't we? In the picture?
I think so.
And we were like, how do we not remember this?
Yeah. If not, it was really close.
Yeah, it was really fun. I remember when oh my gosh, that was years ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it was before kids that we put that back together. And but dance, and then in middle school, and then because like most small towns, we had, because we grew up in a very small rural town.
There's like 5 elementaries, maybe. Well, there's more now.
Is there more now, or is there less because they shut down the one?
Oh, what about the charter? There's probably the same.
Yeah. And so then they take them all and put them in one middle school and then all one high school. And
very small.
Like our graduating class, was it even 200?
No, it was 146.
I love that you know that.
It started at almost 200. It was like 190 something when we started our senior year.
Yeah. And then we did cheer together, and that was kind of like the like that connection, like the bond. And then we bonded over, especially, was it our junior or senior year?
It was our senior year.
Senior year, over cookies late at night. We'd always bake cookies, and
and go figure, that's when we got in trouble.
Could have been at party, but we were baking cookies.
We still got in trouble.
And we still got in trouble being out late. Making cookies. Oh my gosh, my kids went out last night, like just in the neighborhood, to a friend's house for a party or something, a birthday party. And they were supposed to be back at a certain time. And me being me, I'm like, I'm like, you're late. And so we were like getting after him for that. And then I was like, come here. And I given them a hug specifically so I could smell them.
That's a good one.
And then I was like, hey, let me smell your breath. And they were like, Mom. And then we're like in 7th, 8th grade. I was like,
I won't tell you.
Don't even get me started on what I was doing in 7th and 8th grade. I'm like, we're not stupid. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And their friend, I was like, do I need to smell your breath too? And he like ran away. He was like, weird. Like, Mom, you are so embarrassing. But no, that is and so then we like moved. Zandra went to college, and then we would still connect, and we've just been besties ever since. And the other day, what was like, I think it was really like when everything shut down. And gosh, have we been talking about it since that long?
I have no idea. You would know probably better.
I don't know, but I remember sitting out back where I could like have peace and quiet. We were on a video chat, and I was like,
then yes.
We were talking about it. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years. And how we just, if nothing else, it's a good excuse to be able to talk to each other, because we will go months without even talking to each other. And then like we'll get on the phone, we'll talk for like an hour, and
at least
we have to make a time slot. We know not to call each other unless we have the time to do it, because we spend so much time like catching up. But so that, and then just like mom life, it kind of gets away from me. I end up so consumed by your kids. She's so cute. Oh my gosh. And you kind of lose sight of having time for yourself. And so really making that a priority is important after you become a mom, and having that self-care. I definitely didn't do that after my first all of them, but especially the first two.
First all
of them.
I mean, I can see why. She's only 15 months, and it's hard. Like, I didn't think about it until, I don't know, this last weekend. So last weekend, my friend Jenny, you met her, part of the wedding party.
Yeah.
She wanted us to get to, like, the 4 of us to get together. There's some friends that I made over here, and I guess she remembered it was my birthday. That was nice. So that was part of it, but just to get away. And I was like, the mom guilt, like, it's real.
Gosh.
I totally said it, because I realized I got super lucky after a while. My parents, they decided they wanted to help us get a house. So we have a house here that also is for them, because they're both retired now, and they help watch Sabine. And I'm like, I don't know how we did it the first 3 months without.
Yeah.
And then when I'm like, I need a second where she's not clinging on me, I'm like, go to your grandma. And it's like, I feel like I do it a lot. And then I'm like, oh, I feel bad. And it's crazy that it's that instantly that you're like, oh, I'm a terrible mom. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But it was nice. It was nice to get away for like an hour. So hopefully in the future, she will not actually be in my life. Though I love this.
Yes. Yeah. No, and it's hard because it's that like constant tug of not only the mom guilt, but what if I miss something? What if they, the milestones, especially when they're really young and you're like, I remember feeling so guilty putting my kids into daycare. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss their first steps. I'm going to miss, I'm not able to breastfeed. I'm not, like all the things that when you look back, first steps are a big deal, but like some of the little things you're like, but it's constant tug of like what you're missing out on. And then you're worried that they're not with you and that they're, you're abandoning them.
Yeah.
Which is not the case. It's good for them. It's good to think of it as, the people that they are getting to spend time with, their dad, their grandparents, their, auntie or whoever, they get that quality time with them. So that mindset of like, it's that they then get to have that one-on-one with them instead. But it is like, even with them being older, I still get crazy mom guilt. Like, even just when last week when I took the kids with me for 5 days, and then I was feeling guilty that they weren't with their dad. He had to stay home at work and he wasn't able to go on that trip with us. And it's a weird, it's real. It's real. So what did you want to, like, in your childhood, like, what did you want to do when you grew up?
This is a funny question. I wanted to do this one because because we're just getting to know everyone, but also because I wanted us to let everyone know your dreams and hopes can change, and that's okay because you change. But also maybe there's something that you want to go back to and you haven't yet, and you want to remember that. I actually did for a brief moment want to be a dancer. For some reason I had ballet in my head, even though that wasn't something in our small town and we didn't have the money to go to Boise to do it. So that ended real quick. And then from 9 till, I don't know, probably till 25 still, I wanted to be, thank you, honey. I wanted to be a fashion designer. And I actually went to art school to try and do that. That program I ended up entering was really bad because it was a new program that the Art Institute and Nike had collaborated. It was brand new the year I started. And I thought I was doing the smart thing, and I was taking, no, oh, that's spicy. Daddy's got trash sugar. So I thought I'd take, because it was a mix of business and whatever you decided as your design. So I decided to take all the business classes, but they were basically all the same intro to what business, but with a different title. The only class, and then save my art classes for later because it'd be the fun stuff. I didn't get to any of my art classes. I did take basic drawing, but that was, it helped me draw. That was cool. But yeah, and that's something I think when I went to art school and did the business side, unfortunately, it killed my love for the art side of it because I hadn't taken any of that. Also, I was in a really bad you will remember that relationship. I was in a really bad relationship at that time, and that was, I don't even know that we were technically in a relationship at that point. I don't know if it had ended or if we were in a weird spot. But that had ruined a lot of it too, because my emotions were on something else and I was trying to do what I thought was my dream, and they got mixed together. So it was really hard. But it does still make me want to sew. So maybe someday I'll learn to sew. Just like you had mentioned to me, you're like, man, I can't even sew my regalia. We'll figure it out soon.
Figure it out.
Maybe eventually.
Yes. And it's funny because, so what are you doing now?
Oh, that is a good question. I know. Right now, I am actually a high school counselor, the secretary for the high school counselors. And that's because my oldest brother is a high school counselor and he does an amazing job of it. And I always thought that educators in general are underappreciated and you would know, you're an educator, underpaid. But now that I'm working in the school system, I'm even more in awe of people who willingly choose to teach or really work with students in general, because the resources are lacking. The students some of them are in a lot of need. There's only 3 counselors in this giant school that I work at where there used to be 5. Like it's insane. Anyway, so I've always known that I was going to work with people. Like I love helping people. I love listening to people. I love just being there. So that's where I'm at right now. I was at a law firm before, but I moved because the school is closer to home and will eventually be her high school. So that's what I'm doing. But I might do something else again.
Yeah. And then you started your own side hustle too, right? Your own business.
That's true. The side hustle, which kind of goes along with the fashion design. We're taking out all the trash. Awesome. Thank you. You guys might have heard of Zaya. Zaya Activewear. It is a activewear clothing company. I started. Oh, don't eat it, honey. Your daddy needs to throw his trash away. She's hungry. I think this is what she's trying to tell me. Yeah, and it's great quality stuff. Rebekah recently bought some cute camo gear from it. I have not posted a lot about it only because I want to get more of my own gear to show you how I use it every day. But it is exciting because, like I said, it's part of that fashion piece that I've always wanted. And I got into activewear very late in the game, honestly, because I used to be the person that was like, you can't wear leggings every day. What is that? You can't wear basketball shorts all the time. Who are you? I have like 12 pairs of heels and I don't even wear them anymore.
Oh my gosh. I can totally resonate with the whole heels. I finally got rid of a lot of my heels.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I probably will, I'm sure.
Yeah. I used to wear heels with literally everything. And
yes, that's right.
In the last few years, it's been like, I am the person who would totally wear leggings every day.
I mean,
I did there for a while.
Yeah.
It's like for my job, that's what I had to wear, but activewear, I'm all about it. So yeah, I went to Zandra for some camo leggings and ended up with 3 outfits.
Which are super cute. Oh my
so
god.
Cute.
Yeah.
I love them. And they're super comfy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they stay up too. That's important.
Yeah, and suck you in all the right places.
They really do. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys know that? Show them in the sign you did. Yeah, she didn't see it. She did milk. So we do some baby sign language just so we have a better idea of what she wants.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the baby sign language. That feels like a lifetime ago already.
For you, yeah. That's the funny thing too. We're really good friends, but we have different ages of babies. Hers aren't babies anymore. Definitely different stages of kids, which I never imagined, but life turns out we're a lot different than you're expecting, which is also why I wanted that question of what do you do? What did you want to do as a kid?
And how different things have turned out.
Yes. Your turn.
So when I was younger, I definitely wanted something with dance. And so we met in dance in our little town. But then it was at a certain age, they didn't continue those classes. And so I remember going to Boise for something, and we stopped by this dance studio, and I was watching this class, and I was like, I have to be in this. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And we didn't have a lot of money growing up. Like, my dad's a priest. My mom was a teacher, like a paraprofessional at the time. And I don't know how they made it work, but they did, and got me into this studio. And my dad would drive me, I think at first it was like 2 or 3 times a week. So it was an hour away. So I'd get done with cheer practice, and my dad would pick me up, and we'd head straight there. I'd do my homework in the car. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is what I'm meant to do. Not what I do. So currently,
you sort of did it a little bit.
I did a little bit. It was like teaching, but so I had a job where I was a dance teacher at a school and did PE as well. And it was a lot of fun, and I loved it. But then I was recruited into the job I have now, which is so different. It's an informatics trainer. Never thought that I would be doing anything like that. And it's a temporary job. And so training for a new EMR just went live. And so, but that's going to end. And I have a tracker on my phone. It tells me when I'm done. 21 days. So I'm done in 21 days. But part of my goal with being a dance teacher, last summer, I got my certification to become a personal trainer, and then started working on other courses as well to, kind of complement that. So as a nutrition coach and some behavior changes, so more like life coaching and group fitness and things like that. And I was like really wanting to implement that into my teaching. So now that's just going to be something that I will continue once this job is done. I also have a side hustle with Mary Kay. So kind of the beauty and fitness, and then kind of making that all work together. And then, now with our podcast. So kind of excited to see how that is all going to kind of be. It's something I'm going to have to do all on my own and build that up from the ground up. And so that's hopefully something that I can have, in the fall, kind of build it up until then. The room I'm in now is actually, it's considered like a flex room. And it was in many different rooms since we moved in. It was like a playroom, a TV room, an office, a guest room. The kids were in here at one point. And once everything kind of shut down and we had to teach remotely, I was like, I'm just going to turn this into a studio. So now it's called our studio because it is everything. You can see like my kids, like giant block Legos over here. We've got Dexter's little trampoline, which I think I use it more than he does. And then like our weights and everything. So I've got my office set up, my sewing table, and right now a bunch of boxes, all this stuff I need to get to my family. But we're actually going to be, hopefully, with all of our spare time, moving everything into a room in the garage. We're going to build a room, make that into the actual fitness room. So this can be just our office area, have a place for the kids to do their homework and stuff. So again, it's going to be something different in here. Always changing. You never know. I like to keep Nathan on his toes and like, hey, I need you to do this next project.
That's friends have told me this, but that's just kind of the way house owning is. It seems like there's always a project you end up finding.
Always a project. Yes, like the flooring was last year, painting and the flooring, and now we're gonna continue the flooring into the boys' rooms and get them new furniture in there. And so I'm like, okay, when are we gonna get all this done? So Yeah. So I would like to incorporate dance still into the personal training, have it maybe like group dance fitness and still have that aspect of it. My dad built me a dance studio when I was in high school, and I still have the ballet bar. So we're going to try and get that up, and we were going to get the mirror. That was actually the original mirror that's in the house that I grew up in, but we might just get a new one and put that in the studio. But so yeah, that was that's my whole story. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this podcast. I hope that we get a lot of people that join us I think we've decided on Saturday, even
Saturday.
Today is Saturday. We're going to try and post this today. To join us and feel like our friends, because that's all we want. We might have coffee some days. Well, if it's in the morning like this, we probably won't have wine unless it's a mimosa.
Oh, that's a really good idea. We should
come chat with us. We'll find out.
And that's like, well, and it was funny. We were trying to film at night the other night, and I was like, I'm so glad that we're actually going to do this in the morning, because I'll be more awake. Because as soon as we were like, okay, this isn't going to work this night, I was like, I'm going to bed.
More than fine.
Yeah, I used to be a total night owl, and as I'm getting older, I might be awake, but I'm in bed. So yeah. In fact, last night we were texting, and it was like really late, and I was like, we should both be asleep right now. I was in bed. That was like a plus. Yeah. Yeah. And so, we are, it's funny because we are also very much opposites too. Like we always joked about that, how we get along so well, and yet we're very, very opposite on a lot of things. I think we've gotten more alike as we've gotten older, though. Yeah. Like
I forgot to add a question.
Okay.
Only because people might ask it anyway. They're like, are you related? Are you sisters?
I don't.
If you ask it, we just say yes.
Oh my gosh, I forgot we should always say that too. Yeah.
Sometimes we were cousins because they didn't say sister.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they would say cousins anyway because it'd be like sister, related. Oh yeah. Yeah, because then they'd be like, I don't know, you kind of look alike. And we're like, yeah, you're right, we do, because we're related. Yeah.
That kind of went along with what are you? Like, are you guys like related too? Yeah, it was always.
That's true. I forgot. It was pretty much right with the, what are you? You're related.
And then I remember too, like after you moved, and I would come and visit you, and that people that hadn't met me yet, and they're like, oh, are you guys related? That was always,
yeah, actually more so
about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, love it. So technically no.
in case you were wondering.
I guess we kind of covered that though, with like, what are you?
Oh, right. I guess we did. Which we always forgot about when we started talking about that too. We're like, oh, right. I mean, we have different dads or something. Moms. It was moms.
Another sister from another mister. Well, and then also it's funny because we were both very introverted, and as we've gotten older, we both have realized that we're or not introverted. Oh my gosh, I haven't had enough coffee. And I was talking to some of my friends about this last night too. Extroverted, but as we've gotten older, very extroverted, introverted. Like we love to,
This is crazy. I think I think part of it is we were really here's the thing about education that kind of sucks. They want to put you in boxes, right? Like, and I was all about education. Well, I was all about getting your education. Rebekah wasn't exactly, and we can have another podcast about this. But like, they always have you do those tests, like what's your some sort of personality test. And I always came out as an introvert with my answers. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, well, it's not always the case. Like, yes, I was an introvert as a kid. I was also a kid. Like, who wants to be by themselves for more than 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Anyone under 25, probably. That's my answer anyway. Yeah, because once I got around 25 and I was able to, like, I don't know, have a meal by myself, which is amazing. You should try it if you haven't tried it yet and you're in your 20s. Yeah, I didn't know how to be alone. And that's something that I think you really need, at least for me, you really need to do. Like,
yeah,
just even if it's like a day or a meal or a movie. Actually, I haven't done that yet. Some people really like it. I don't know.
Well, and then with me, like, I don't know, and a lot of it was after I had kids and changing so much. Like,
oh yeah,
didn't know how to be alone either. Like,
I guess that's true.
Oh my gosh, like I my youngest is 8, and I just had my first outing, like meal alone, a month ago. I was texting Nathan, like, I don't know what to do. I have all this time. What do I do?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
And he was like, go, like, you even have enough, because it was like a huge break for work. Like, I had to train, and then I had a break, and then I was going back for another class. And I was like, and I'm not in our tiny little town. I can go, like, you know, to a movie or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you'll have enough time to go to a movie and lunch and go shopping. And I didn't do any of that. I went shopping, bought other people things. I went to lunch. And then as I'm at lunch, I was like texting my friends, and she's like, oh, I'll come and meet you. I was like, oh, thank God. Sitting at this bar by myself eating lunch when I didn't even have a drink because I had to go back to work. And I was like, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it's so funny because but I love being home. I've become such a homebody, and I'd much rather have pizza and a movie at home with my family than out and about. But at the same time, if I'm home for too long, Nathan knows, especially this time of year, like, are you ready for your outing? Like, I don't even care. Like, we can just be in the car driving somewhere. Like, let's go and look at, we always like Hell's Canyon or something, and go and get out. And it might even be too early for fishing, but I'm like, let's take them fishing. Like, I don't even care. I just need to be doing something. And, but
put in your mouth. Huh?
So we have lots of ideas. Just as we're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, we could totally go into that, and we could go into that. But yeah, and I
now they can see.
Yeah, and that was like the biggest thing was you know, when we were talking about what we wanted to do with this podcast was how we've changed and how motherhood has changed us. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you're just a mom, and you know, you can still go out and fulfill those dreams that you're wanting to do. And kind of it's okay to have a different goal, a different dream of what you're wanting. Because I am ready to kind of go after some different things, because the job I have now is great, but it's totally not. It's the first job I've also had where I had to sit all day long. It dawned on me, I never had a job where I just sat. Never once. Like,
it's hard. And I most of my jobs have been that way.
Yes.
Except for, I guess being a teller, you're not really sitting, huh? Because you gotta go to the vault.
Oh no, you don't get to sit.
I sort of sat a little bit. We had high tall chairs at when I was a teller, but
no, we didn't get those. All right. Well, you're going to go for your run, right?
Yeah, there was something I was going to say. I guess I'll say it next time because I already forgot. Oh, no, I was just going to be silly. I was going to be like, and now you know why we can go at least an hour. Don't worry. We won't have you listen to us for an hour unless for some reason you request it. But
yeah,
we
well,
could.
and I think as we get going and we have, this one was definitely like a get to know us first podcast, and then episode. And then once we have our, file down our topics a little bit, and so it won't be so long. And that was the other thing too, is that Zandra really got on a health journey as well. And that kind of goes along with your Zaya too. And
and this podcast. And like you were saying, we want you to know that like you aren't just a mom, or you aren't just whatever you are at that point. Or whatever you think you are at that point. Because it was a hard journey for me. And we will definitely have an episode of this because I always saw myself as an athlete. And at this point in my life, I definitely was not an athlete, or at least not one in the shape of an athlete. So yes, don't give up because it's hard. Like lots of things are hard, unfortunately, but we want to be here to motivate you in whatever your journey is and help inspire you and keep you going.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how we have always been to each other too. Like no matter what it is that we were going through, even if we didn't talk for months on end, like we always knew that if there was something that we needed, support in, that's what we were always there for each other. And so just to do that, cheerleaders for life.
Which is funny. I was only a cheerleader for 2 years, but totally. Oh wait, in college. I forgot.
Yeah, and you were a college cheerleader. Yeah, more than that. Yeah, and so I'm still totally that, like, I'm gonna rally everybody up. It might be the worst day ever. We're gonna like turn this around, and I think we could totally have. Yeah, I'm making notes.
Good. Someone needs to.
Well, your hands are full.
That's true. I don't really know anymore, which is weird because I only used to like write everything down. Okay, but we can talk about that later too.
Yeah. Yes, I gotta go make birthday breakfast, birthday coffee, and so today is March 12th, 2022, first episode.
22.
Yay! Yeah, and so that's super exciting, and so we will see you guys next Saturday.
Yay!
Yay.
See you next Saturday. Bye.
Bye.